Welcome to Mornings with Patty. Today I'm reading from The Language of Letting Go, June 22nd, on work histories. This is kind of a long reading, and I'm not going to put a lot of my own stuff on the back end of it like I usually do. What I'd love for you to do is take some notes as we read through this, and also maybe take the transcript and copy and paste it so that you can review it and see how you can better show up for yourself in your work. So it goes like this. Just as we have relationship histories, most of us have work histories. Just as we have a present circumstance to accept and deal with in our relationship life, we have a present circumstance to deal with and accept in our work life. Just as we develop a healthy attitude toward our relationship history, one that will help us learn and move forward, we can develop a healthy attitude toward our work history. I have worked many jobs in my life since I was 11 years old. Just as I've learned many things about myself through my relationships, I have learned many lessons through my work. Often these lessons run parallel to the lessons I'm learning in other areas of my life. I've worked at jobs I hated, but was temporarily dependent on. I've gotten stuck in jobs because I was afraid to strike out on my own and find my next set of circumstances. I have been in some jobs to develop skills. Sometimes I didn't know I was developing those skills until later on when they became an important part of the career of my choice. I've worked at jobs where I felt victimized, where I felt like I gave and received nothing in return. I've been in relationships where I manufactured similar feelings. I've worked at some jobs that might have taught me what I absolutely didn't want. Others sparked in me an idea of what I really did want and deserve in my career. Some of my jobs have helped me develop character. Others have helped me fine-tune skills. They've all been a place to practice spiritual and beautiful behaviors. Just as if I had to deal with feelings and messages about my relationships, I've had to deal with my feelings and my messages about myself and what I believed I deserved at work. Just as if I needed to clear the wreckage of feelings about past relationships, I have needed to finish my business with jobs and careers. I have been through 3 major career changes in my life. I learned that none of the careers was a mistake and no job was wasted time. I've learned something from each job, and my work history has created who I am. I learned something else. There was a plan, and I was being led. The more I trusted my instincts, what I wanted, and what felt right, the more I felt that I was being led. The more I refused to lose my soul to a job and worked at it because I wanted to and not for the paycheck, the less victimized I felt by my career, even those jobs that paid a meager salary. The more I set goals and took responsibility for achieving the career I wanted, the more I could decide whether a particular job fit into the scheme of things. I could understand why I was working at a particular job and how that was going to benefit me. There are times when I panicked at work and about when I was in my employment history, about where I was in my employment history. Panic never helped. Trust and working my spiritual program did. There were times I looked around and wondered why I was where I was. There were times people thought I should be someplace different. But when I looked into myself and at God, I knew I was in the right place for the moment. There were times I didn't get the promotion I wanted. There were times I was refused a promotion, and that I refused a promotion because it just didn't feel right. There are times I've had to quit a job and walk away in order to be true to myself. Sometimes that was scary. Sometimes I felt like a failure. But I learned this: If I was working my spiritual program and if I was true to myself, I never had to be feared where I was being led. There have been times I couldn't survive on the small amount of money I was receiving. Instead of bringing that issue to a particular employer and making it his or her fault, I have learned to bring these kinds of issues to myself and to my higher power. I've learned I'm responsible for setting my boundaries and establishing what I believe I deserve. I've also learned God and not a particular employer is my source of guidance. I've learned that I'm not stuck or trapped in a job no more than I'm stuck in a relationship. I have choices. I may not be able to see them clearly right now, but I do have choices. I've learned that if I really want to take care of myself in a particular way on a job, I will do that. And if I really want to be victimized by a job, I will allow that to happen too. I am responsible for my choices and I have choices. Above all else, I've learned to accept and trust my present circumstances at work. This does not mean to submit. It does not mean to forego boundaries. It means to trust, accept, then take care of myself the best I'm able to on any given day. God, help me bring my behaviors, my spiritual behaviors, to my career affairs. And I said I wasn't going to talk a lot because it's 7 minutes already. I just really want you to look at yourself as I have looked at myself in this. And I always have a choice. I want you to know, though, that last August, a year ago, I ended my job because I couldn't stand it. It wasn't aligned with who I was. And I've also started something that I knew in my heart I shouldn't have done. And it ended badly. So just keep following your guidance, internal guidance. And remember, you are the one who has the choice. And remember that it's you and God. You don't have to be victimized by anyone else. And then part of the other thing is just pure acceptance. Acceptance is of what is. And then from that point of view, you and God make the decision on what is good for you. And you're going to know that by the feeling in your heart. I hope you like this. If you do, follow me, like this, and make some comments about what you thought about this particular reading, and if there's anything that I can do to support you in that. Thank you, and I love you. And remember that I am just trying to help you learn to come back to you. I love you.